Stories. What's your life tapestry? What does it look like? It dawned on me recently all the mental unfoldings, the information that goes on around our community of deliberate co creators coming across the laws of the universe that have always been there waiting for manifest. And it doesn't mean because we weren't aware of them before they weren't playing a big part in our life, but they've always done. For proctors, six higher mental faculties, techniques like meditation. We can go on and on. Some of them, we come across them and they resonate more than others, but we all just have to find something that really resonates with ourselves and take it and cultivate it in our own life. All this can be summarized into the stories that we tell ourselves. The thing is, who gets sucked into the self-improvement, and I talked about this in my previous video, I'll attach it up. People get sucked again into feel like I lack. Maybe I don't have everything, I don't have all the tools that I need to be able to start my manifestation journey, or to be able to start actualizing whatever you want to actualize. Chasing, forgetting that you are enough and your story is your priority to the community, but most importantly to you. What happens really is that people start posing on their story. People kind of get distracted, and it's almost like they forget what they are supposed to do and they divert. And don't get me wrong, I love self-improvement. Self-improvement has got me to where I am. But what really happens is, take this analogy of someone who is driving a car. For example, let's say you're driving your own car. You're telling your story. You're in this particular car. The car is your story. The car is your life. When you press on the gas pedal, that's when you continue telling the story. This could be maybe a next paragraph. It could be a caveat story you want to throw into your life. It could be anything. Mind you, you are in control of the story that you tell. You are in control of how the story ends up to be. You have the pen, and it's literally like a blank canvas. Draw the story of how you want your life to be. When you press on the gas pedal, you continue writing the story. When you remove your foot from the gas pedal, what happens? That's the time you can be able to glance at the side, take a glance at the view, change the music if you wanted to change the music. And this whole process, we can call it the self-improvement. This is where you can go take the next book you wanted to take. You can go and research about something you really wanted to research about your life. Because think about it, if you, let's say the foot is on the gas pedal the whole way through, you're gonna be writing stuff without even knowing what exactly you're writing, or even finding a sense of direction to where you're going. That moment when you're lifting off the foot from the pedal, and you can be able to go more and see the contrast and know exactly where the story should go, and see if the story was diverting to where you didn't want it to divert, and be able to research on that. Maybe it's like one more YouTube video you need to listen to, a new book, or just a contrast in your life experience that happens in a way that you didn't want it to happen, and now have clarity on exactly what you want because you had that experience. All that is self-improvement. What happens is, a lot of people take so much time off the pedal, the car slows down, they get sucked into the self-improvement journey. They divert from the main highway of their life and they get into someone else's highway, and they get confused. So it's just a matter of finding the balance of when to put on the pedal, and when to remove it, balancing within self-improvement and telling your story, because you have your life. Your story is important for the whole human being as a whole. Most importantly, it's important for you. Creation is finished. And all this powerful information, no matter how it comes to you, that's just manifestation or realization of what is, what has always been, and what will always be. Our subconscious minds have no sense of humor, play no jokes, and cannot tell the difference between reality and an imagined thought or image. What we continually think about eventually will manifest in our lives. The mind cannot tell the difference between something imagined and something that is happening in our 3D world. So within, so without, we create our own reality. Whatever has manifested outside you, it just means that a reflection of what the stories of exactly the stories that you've been telling yourself. So we have the stories, and then we have the identities, and then we have the beliefs, and beliefs are just the thoughts that we keep on telling ourselves. And we have thoughts, and then now we have emotions. And now we focus on the stories. Mind you, see, let's say for example you're meeting someone new. What usually happens is that you start telling each other's stories of your identities. Oh, this is where I live, this is what I do, this is what I have, this is what I own, this is everything that I do. And the thing here is that you start telling the stories that you already are your identities, and you already admire and shun, and just stay away from the stories that are not serving you, stories that are manifested out from the 3D and you want to change them. Start telling those stories. And what really happens is that when we have this mental conversation or the inner speech, we have to tell the stories as if we're assuming the state of already embodying what you have manifested. It could be a state, a feeling, whatever you want to manifest, whatever story you want to change, whatever story you want to embody, you have to narrate it and tell it in yourself in a way that it is already done. It's done, because remember, creation is finished. Everything is just a manifestation. It's just bringing whatever you want into light. Everything is a truth, but it's just a matter of what you want your truth to be, what you want your story to be. Whatever you give energy to, that's where you're placing your attention, and it's gonna grow. Caveat that I would like to throw out there is that goodness always wins. So make sure like your intentions and the stories that you want to put out there, they're things that are beneficial to you, as a human being, and beneficial to you as a community. When you're telling these stories, make sure you do it often, as much as you can, because remember, repetition creates neural pathway and it strengthens those pathways. Some of the ways you can be able to decipher what kind of inner speech that you have, you can do this by serving the kind of dreams that are happening for you. Another way you can do this is your attitude. The manifestations that are happening outside. Daydreaming, scripting. Basically, just take on a plain piece of paper and just don't think so much about what you're trying to write, but write it down. It can help you see what comes out flowy, what comes out easy, meaning that's what you're most resonant to, and that's what you're really thinking about. Someone might have a really busy schedule and think that they don't really have mental conversations that are really happening, or what we can call inner speech, but it does happen. Mental rehearsal. This can be done early in the morning when you wake up, and for example you meditate in the morning. You can use this to try and tell yourself the story by rehearsing, having mental rehearsals of what you want your story to look like that particular day. To be intentional, how you really want your day to unfold, and what kind of a person you want to be, how you want to treat yourself that day, how you want to treat people if you're going in a work experience, and just having a full-on conversation and a full-on story. Because remember what we talked about earlier, the brain doesn't really know the difference between you imagining something, actually being there, imagining the assumption of it's done, and rehearsing it before it actually happens. Or rather, it becomes easier for you because the body has already those pathways, and since the body likes conserving energy, it's gonna like most likely use that pathway that it's already there, and it help you manifest whatever you want and whatever story you want to happen that particular day. Pruning shares of revision. This particular one, you can use it just before you go to sleep, and you can just lay in bed. You revise the day as you wish you had lived it, and revising every scene, revising the scene that you really particularly want to change to conform to your ideals. What happens is that revision causes repeal, and he talks about this being like forgiveness for the sin that you read. But I would advocate for anyone who really wants to read more about this and really understand it to go and read about it, the pronunciations of revision. This helps you literally rewrite whatever happened, and you can just lay in your bed and revisit something that really happened and you didn't want it to go that way, and revise it repeatedly on how you wanted it to happen. Dispenza talks about when our brain thrives on repetition. Do something repeatedly, it becomes easier and easier and easier, almost like that particular pathway becomes like a software system where it's easy, like it's like a go-to method. So what happens is when you're laying there in bed and repeating what exactly you wanted to do, is like literally you're pruning on the network of whatever had formed in your brain based on the occurrence that had happened, and literally you're forming new pathways that are favorable for your stories. And it's like a forgiveness thing he talks about in the book, and I find it very interesting because the moment I read about that, it's almost like I already knew about it and I was kind of practicing it, but I didn't have really that much confidence until I read it from him, and I was like, oh my god, like literally this resonates a lot. To know the truth, you must live the truth, and to live the truth, you must match your inner actions with your fulfilled desire. So guys, thank you for watching the video. I really enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe to our channel.